Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Holly Christina Averett, and I'm a graduate assistant here at the Dayton Foundation, and I am joined today by two very special guests. We have Jenny Valdez, who is a member of the leadership team at the Miami Valley Immigration Coalition, and her husband, Choco Valdez, who is a volunteer with Leaders for Equality and Action in Dayton. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So for our viewers, Leaders for Equality and Action in Dayton is it's a group that aims to bring together people across various racial, socioeconomic, and denominational lines to enact positive change in our communities. And today we're here to talk about a $7,500 grant that Leaders for Equality and Action in Dayton was awarded from the COVID-19 Response Fund for Greater Dayton. And that grant is helping LEAD. I'm going to use LEAD to refer to Leaders for Equality and Action in Dayton for our viewers moving forward. And LEAD is delivering food and other health necessities to immigrant families in our community. And another note for our viewers, the COVID-19 Response Fund for Greater Dayton is a partnership between the Dayton Foundation and the United Way of Greater Dayton, and the fund is helping nonprofits on the front lines get the resources they need to support our community. So we're gonna get right in, and I'm gonna ask the first question. So I wanna know, how did you two become advocates for the immigrant community?
Well, really, it's because my husband is originally from Mexico City, and he is an immigrant to our country. We have been married almost 17 years, and this entire time we have been doing anything we can to advocate for our community because we're passionate about our community, and we have been through a lot, being an immigrant family, and so anything we can do to help is definitely what we focus on.
Wow, we are so lucky to have people like you in our community that are advocating for our immigrant families, because you know exactly how hard it is to go through that process to gain citizenship to our country. So thank you for what you guys do. Um, so the next question is, how has this COVID-19 Response Fund grant helped your organization serve our community?
This grant has been a tremendous help um, for our food distribution efforts. We have had the ability to buy fresh vegetables, buy dairy products, things like eggs, to offset the donations that we have been given. And it's been really positive to be able to give our families more than just processed food. And they are extremely appreciative. And without this grant, we would not have been able to do that. So it's been incredible.
Wow, yeah. That is amazing that you guys are able to do that. I know a lot of food programs, they really focus on shelf stable items, which are fantastic. And, you know, they really help. But I think providing, you know, fresh produce and dairy really helps those families get more balanced meals and keep their diets together. So I am curious, what has been the response from the families that you guys have helped through this grant?
The response really has been overwhelming. Um, we have had people break down in tears. We have had people texting us on a regular basis, telling us what a difference this has made for them. We had one father that shared with us that his job stopped for quite a few weeks. And then, even when they did bring him back, it was not the hours he was accustomed to. And he cried as he shared this with us and told us that this food delivery has made all of the difference for his family. And we have heard that over and over from people throughout this whole process.
Wow.
Do you have anything that sticks out?
Well, the same, the try speak in the same language to these people helping a lot, and
Yeah.
all of they're not alone. We try help the best we
Mhm.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to speak to them in their native language, it really does. I think it gives them that ease to be able to really express what they've been experiencing through all of this.
Yeah, that's amazing that you guys are able to help people in that way and also connect with people in their native tongue, especially because that can make all the difference. Like you said, I think that can really help people create that sense of home or that feeling of home and community when they know that there are people like you guys that will advocate for them and, that can speak to them in their native tongue. They might be able to better tell you what they are looking for, what they need, and you guys can refer them from there, versus if they're trying to look for the words in a second language. So that is amazing. I'm so glad that you guys have had that response. um, so my next question is, can you tell me what Miami Valley Immigration Coalition is and its relationship to LEAD?
Yes. So LEAD has been part of the Dayton community for a number of years, and they have really focused on grassroots efforts of bringing different people in the community together to focus on different social justice issues. And LEAD felt a couple years ago that one issue that really needed to be focused on was immigration and our immigrant community, and really helping to make a difference, and not just through service-based initiatives, but even more so through social justice issues, because that is the bigger picture and it can really affect families, especially if the laws aren't written well, can really affect them negatively. And so rather than putting a band-aid on things, LEAD's view is let's really fight to make a difference and fix some of these situations.
Yeah.
Miami Valley Immigration Coalition is one of those groups that has formed as a result of LEAD's efforts. And that is what we're focused on doing, is bringing together groups, different groups within the community that are working with immigrants, working for immigrants, just building those bridges, because as we know, there is strength in numbers. And so if we can make this coalition stronger by bringing together all of these groups, then we can really start to bring change to the immigrant community.
Yeah, it's really amazing to hear about the collaboration that MBIC has been able to have with a bunch of different groups to serve this portion of our community. Um, I think it's really, really important to have that collaboration so it's not so one-sided. And it's really interesting that you mention how some of the laws, intentionally or unintentionally, can hurt certain communities and how you guys are working to change that. So thank you so much for enlightening us on that fact. So my last question is, what are some of the biggest challenges that our immigrant friends and neighbors are facing during this time, and how can we help them?
I would say definitely one of the biggest challenges our immigrant neighbors are facing. It's quite an obvious one. It's that language barrier and trying to navigate our country without being able to speak the language well. Many of them are trying to learn, so it's definitely not for a lack of trying, but especially through COVID, when a lot of them were losing their service industry jobs, it made it really hard to know where to go and how to get help. And when all of a sudden you have no income and you're not going to get a stimulus check and you're not going to get unemployment, it is very scary. And so I would say definitely the language barrier, and then just trying to figure out how to navigate our country well.
Um, what can we do to support those neighbors?
What I would say, and I think my husband would agree, is first of all, just be kind. If you have the benefit of having an immigrant neighbor, you have such an opportunity to really have your eyes opened about our world. And so just slow down, be kind, and they are trying to learn the language. If you talk to them and you talk slowly and you really make that effort to reach out to them, they are going to be grateful. And I think again, building bridges, that's a big one. Our world is a better place when we make those relationships and we build those bridges. And that is what leads to positive change for all of our future generations.
Yes. I really love that, you mentioned being kind, because how easy it's to be kind to someone else. And I think that goes back to, that idea of really creating a sense of community for that person. So, I think that it's really easy for us to get caught up in, well, they might not know, so I'm going to stay away. And, thank you so much for just giving us advice on how we can really support our community in that way.
At the heart of it all, we are all the same. We all want the same things. We want to be safe. We want to be able to provide for our children and make sure that they can grow up healthy and confident. We want to be able to have that stability.
Yeah.
So even though we may share different cultures and traditions, inside we're still the same.
We're all the same.
Yeah, we're the same. And I think if we can all remember that, what a difference it could make.
Yes, and like you said, we are all the same, and I think being kind and being open to listening to people from other countries, that can broaden our perspective, and like you said, we can enact that positive change for our future generations. So this was amazing. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk with me, and on behalf of the Dayton Foundation, I want to thank you guys personally, and also your organization, for all the good work that you're doing to support our community.
And thank you so much.
Thank you,
I definitely want to say that not just myself and my husband, but the entire Miami Valley Immigration Coalition, this grant we're just so appreciative. I can't tell you enough how thankful we are that this happened and we were able to just make a bigger difference for people. So thank you.
Well, I will be sure to pass on your thanks. And again, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Okay, thank you.